Welcome back to the Cinema Goodness Podcast, everybody. I'm Kaheem. This JP. What's going on, JP?
Nothing much, man. How you doing? Good to be back.
I'm doing good, man. We took a little hiatus, bro, but I'm glad everything worked out for the best, man. We back, bro. So we're gonna be talking about. We got his and hers, and we're also gonna be talking about Wonder Man. But before that, we're gonna be taking a look at this Stranger Things Tales from '85 trailer, man. It's a cartoon that Netflix popped up with, man. Looks pretty good, man. We're gonna check out that trailer, and I'm excited for that, man. So sit back, relax, grab some popcorn. Let's get into the cinema goodness. Family, this is Kaheem.
And I'm JP.
And this is the Cinema Goodness Podcast, where we talk movies, all things related to Hollywood,
including your favorite genres and upcoming projects. Join us here for an unbiased and unfiltered discussion from our unique perspective.
So sit back, relax, grab some popcorn. Let's get into the Cinema Goodness. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We back with the Cinema Goodness Podcast. All you cinema lovers, film, animation people, we're going to take a look at this Tales from '85 trailer, man. Stranger Things. Let's get it. Oh, sorry. There we go.
Hey.
Hey.
Hey,
Coach! I need a coat!
anything happens to her, these woods hide a lot of mistakes.
I walk along the city streets you used to walk along with me.
The big snowstorm is coming next week. That's when we'll start the campaign.
And every step I take reminds me of just how it used to be. There's always something there to remind me.
Something from the Upside Down must have survived last year.
Looks like it's mutating.
I've kind of always had a crush on you, Steve.
I've always had a crush on you too, Nancy. No, I mean Natalie. Natalie.
Oh. That's crazy. It's crazy, man. Just when you think Stranger Things is gone, they pop up with a little something extra for you, man. What you think?
Man, I don't know how I feel about this because the story has been told, man.
Yeah, but it looks like it's something a little different. Like, I think, like between the seasons, they could always have like little stuff pop up. So this could turn into like a one-off, or it could be like a little short mini series that they could have. You know, I like the animation part because it takes us away from, you know, the original look, but it also gives us just a different outtake, you know, the possibilities, you know. So we know this not in the main storyline. This is just like some fun stuff for the fans, man. I'm down. I don't like the voice change though. The voice actors change, and I could peek that, and that's something that I'm not a fan of.
Yeah, because we grew up with them, and having their voices actually voice the characters just makes more sense. Yeah. So it kind of gives you a little bit of cognitive dissonance because you're like, what? Now who is that? Yeah. But at the same time, it's Stranger Things. I'm gonna give it, you know, I'm gonna give it a try. We're gonna see. And now, looking up the time frame of Stranger Things, is this Tales from '85? So that means this is between seasons 2 and 3.
Okay.
The season 1 begins November 6, '83. Season 2 is the fall of '84. And I saw a lot of snow. So I assume this is maybe what happens right after the end of season 2, going into before, the spring before season 3. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah, I think
the cool thing about it is animation opens the door to doing so much more.
Yeah. Stranger Things, man. It's a phenom, bro. It's a phenomenon.
Oh yeah.
I don't think it's gonna die. Yeah, that was that. That was that little trailer, man. Let us know if y'all gonna check that out. Let's move on to our movies for the day. We got His and Hers and Marvel's Wonder Man. 2 stories, 2 lies. This week we got 2 projects obsessed with storytelling, but terrified of the truth. One is a Southern gothic murder mystery where memory lies, trauma festers, and the narrators cannot be trusted. The other is a Marvel series where Hollywood is the villain, fame is the prize, and secrecy is survival. To frame it clearly, His and Hers asks, what if the story you've been telling yourself is a defense mechanism? Wonder Man asks, what if the system only rewards you when you lie correctly? Tonight we're talking about truth as performance, identity as camouflage, and why both shows end with someone choosing silence over justice. Let's get into His and Hers, man.
Okay, so our synopsis on His and Hers. His and Hers is a Netflix thriller series based on Alice Feeney's novel. It stars Tessa Thompson and John Bernthal. It follows Anna Andrews, a journalist struggling with her career who returns to her Georgia hometown to cover a murder, only to find her estranged detective husband, Jack Harper, is investigating the same case. Now, she's in Atlanta. She's a former news anchor living alone after withdrawing from her career and personal life due to personal tragedy. When she overhears about this murder in Dahlonega, the small Georgia town where she grew up, the case jolts her back into action. Drawn both by professional instinct and unresolved ties to her past, Anna returns to Dahlonega and begins digging into the killing, convinced that the truth has been buried beneath layers of silence and half-remembered history. As Anna's investigation deepens, she repeatedly clashes with Detective Jack Harper, her ex-husband, or still husband, who's officially assigned to the case and is deeply suspicious of her motives and involvement.
Man, everyone is lying. Everyone is watching. This isn't
everyone.
Yeah. This isn't a whodunit. This isn't a whodunit. This is who tells the story the best way while the camera is on. His and Hers weaponizes perspective. Every episode tightens the screws by revealing not just new facts, but new versions of the same people. The crime pulls everyone back into the moment where their lives split apart, and each episode peels back another layer of self-deception. So, all right, before we get into the thing, like, when you think about the title His and Hers, it opens with this kind of thing where, one side is the truth, there's his side and her side, but only one truth. And that's kind of like the main thing through the whole series. Like, maybe what this person is experiencing isn't the truth. Maybe what Anna is experiencing isn't the truth. There's only one truth. So through the whole series, you're kind of looking for that truth and what's the underlying reason for all of this stuff happening. And to my surprise, it wasn't nothing like I thought it was going to be, man. Like how it ended, like that was the furthest thing from my mind. Even watching through the show, I still, when this needle finally drops, it's like I'm like I don't even know how to react, bro. We gonna get into all of that, but like, what was your initial like reaction of the series, all 6 episodes?
So, I mean, taking it as a whole, the reveal at the end is shocking. I will say this: this movie keeps you guessing. This series keeps you guessing. It's meant they are throwing misdirection at every turn. Yeah. You're only getting bits and pieces, you know, and there's no black and white. This is the definition of gray, because really the only person who's really no one's hands are clean. I was gonna say the Priya character's hands were pretty clean, but even she was being deceptive because she had information that she wasn't revealing, that she knew and had suspicions, but she never, showed her hand. So it definitely is challenging you to figure out, who is a whodunit, most definitely. But man, everyone has motives to have done this when you start really peeling back the layers of this case. So it was actually very, very interesting. I enjoyed it. I will say this. With the ending, what we found out at the end, when I first saw the character on the screen, I said, "Okay, I remember her from this," and she was in a Tyler Perry movie, and my mind just asked the question, but I immediately dismissed it, and it was like, "What if it turns out she's the killer?" But there was no evidence to support that, so I was like, "No, it ain't her."
Yeah,
man, she got me. They got me good, but I enjoyed it. Definitely, it's great storytelling. The way they use misdirection.
Yeah, man. We also we kind of talked about this with the Rip and stuff like that, like the morally gray area. Mm-hmm. Like what constitutes as like morally acceptable versus like, not morally acceptable, or is there such a thing? Like doing bad things for the right reasons, is that acceptable? You know what I'm saying? And this show kind of like embodies that, and it was really great writing, man. Yeah. All right. Episode 1, The Body. Anna Andrews doesn't come home to heal. She comes home to reclaim control. She forces herself onto this murder story like it's a life raft, dragging her cameraman, Richard, which we'll get into later, with her. The town hasn't forgiven her. Jack Harper, JP just told y'all, her ex-husband, hasn't forgiven her either. Their reunion is all clip dialogue and unfinished sentences, the kind only 2 people with shared grief can speak. Then the floor drops out. The victim is Rachel. She's not a stranger. She's not random. It's a ghost from Anna's past. And in the final reveal, the episode recontextualizes everything. Jack was with Rachel that night that she died, and Anna was watching. This isn't about solving a murder anymore. It's about who gets to control the narrative. My first question is, did Anna return to Dahlonega to expose the truth or to control the story? Which one did you think? Or why do you think that she, because at first she just sets it up like she just came off of this hiatus and she needs to get back into the field. But just so happens she chose this story, Dahlonega, is under the disguise of, I'm from there and I'm going to attack the story. But why do you think there was another motive behind it?
That's a really, really good question, whether she had another motive. I have to say yes, because once it's revealed that she's there, and she sees that her husband is involved. And to be clear, not ex, as I said ex before, it's estranged. So they are just apart, but they are not divorced. She sees her estranged husband sleeping with this woman who ends up being killed. So I think it's one of those things where, you know, we're back to morally gray. I think she's using it as an opportunity. It's because she knows, first of all, she knows everybody there because everybody in Delonga knows everybody. And knowing that she has that upper hand, whereas if she were, you know, covering a case in Atlanta, she's not going to have that upper hand. So she's able, really, like you said, to control the narrative a whole lot, knowing a lot of the people, a lot of their background, and then having connections with people that she knows in the town. But knowing now that potentially the person involved was involved with her ex-husband, she has another ulterior motive. So her motives are, I would say, ambiguous at best.
Yeah. I thought she did it, man.
At one point, I absolutely did.
I thought she did it, man. But we also get a chance. Yeah, say that again.
No, I was going to say, I thought she absolutely did it, but they wanted us to think that. Yeah. Because they showed us in the very first scene, her rushing home. She's soaking wet. She's all dirty and muddy. She's coming in, and then she bags up all her clothes and throws them away.
Yeah. And we also get to see Anna's mom. We see that she has dementia, and that becomes a big thing throughout the show. Episode 2, blackmail. Evidence can be manufactured. Guilt can't. Jack starts erasing himself from the crime. Fake DNA, hidden phones, desperation disguised as procedure. Anna pulls at Rachel's marriage and discovers the open relationship that they clearly had was theater. It's another performance, another lie. The visit to Helen, one of Anna's friends, cracks the story open. The 20-year-old secret hangs in the air like humidity. You can feel the past pressing against the present. So this whole thing with Jack, and him covering up like his tracks or whatever. The craziest part was when they kept feeding like the idea of the DNA. They got to get the DNA. He kept like throwing stuff off. That in that point, I'm like, man, maybe he did it, right? So there's a lot of misdirection. Then when he asked his little niece, he's like, "Hey, you want to play a little game?" I'm like, "Oh, you's a dirty bastard, man. You killed the girl and then you trying to make your niece responsible." But here's my thing though: if he didn't do it, why wouldn't he just solve the case? Like try his best to solve the case instead of just putting the pressure on the husband, because that's what he did. Like, the husband did it. The husband did it. But if you didn't do it, why not just do everything you can to solve the case? You know what I'm saying? Instead of just doing this little reach around type situation. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it.
Boy, that's a terrible phrase.
I know, but I love reach around, man. Like you playing games.
So let me tell you, I would say that his actions in attempting to tamper with the evidence, because that's what it was, and destroy evidence was, I would say, the thing that I had the biggest problem with the show. Because everything that he did was so easily, like, it so easily can be discovered that this is not true. Yeah. And then, especially when he swabs his niece, okay, they're going to clearly be able to determine this is female DNA, and the DNA that they're testing it against is semen.
Yeah.
So it's not possible that you can confuse them or get them off your track because they're going to say, well, this is a female swab. So, but I think maybe he was just trying to delay so that he could then give him an opportunity at that point to solve the case, or give him time to. But here's a dark part of it for me.
Okay.
He knows that even though he did not kill her because his semen was there, let me say DNA. Stop saying that.
Mhm.
His DNA was there. It was going to get pinned on him no matter what. Because after he had looked at everything that he could look at, there were no other threads that he could really pull. That's why he was so doggedly pursuing the husband. We already know from so many procedural cop shows that, and just from, real life, that intimate partners, husbands and wives, family members are almost always the first suspect when someone is murdered. And that the rest of reality. Those are the people who have the closest relationships to and can elicit some of the strongest, reactions, both positive and negative. My point being, he knew that they were going to hit it on him, and because he wouldn't be able to refute it because he couldn't prove the husband did it, he was going to go down for it. So his goal was muddying the waters, I would assume.
Yeah.
I didn't like it because to me, he was living, as much as he was trying to destroy, he was creating more evidence of him being there.
Right.
There's no way. That's why I liked when they started having the Priya character pick up on, there's got to be something going on here, because him trying to do all this stuff seemed dumb. Anybody with common sense and who knows how to investigate a case will be able to figure out who it actually is. So that part to me is the lowest part of this series. I did not like how they did that. I don't know if that's from the book because I didn't read the book. So this is an Ann Feeney book. I don't know if that came out of the book, but if it was written in the book that way, okay. If it was written for the show that way, I don't think it was the right way to go.
I agree. The morgue scene is pure horror. Jack using Rachel's dead face to unlock her phone is one of the most unsettling moments of the show. What he finds is enclosure is blackmail, and Priya quietly plots the boot prints. The walls are closing in. Episode 3, A Second Body, Public Humiliation, Private Terror. Anna loses her anchor job in the cruelest way possible. Lexi doesn't just take her spot, he humiliates her on live television. Back in Dahlonega, Jack finally confesses the affair to his sister Zoe. Relief doesn't come. Shame settles in instead. Then comes the graveyard footage. Anne was there. She saw everything. And just when the audience thinks they understand the shape of the crime, Helen is found dead. Same positioning, same signature. So the girl that was giving Anne all this grief in the second episode ends up dead. And then
Helen, yeah.
I was for sure Anne did it at that point. Like, oh, she killing people, like she just trying to hide her tracks and all of this stuff. But nah, man, it's something deeper because it has liar on her head, on her face. So that was a thing. Episode 4, Point of No Return. The town turns. The past speaks. The town hall explodes. Jack's authority collapses in public. Priya's faith in him dies quietly when she finds the hidden evidence. So this whole point, I'm like, bro, just tell your partner what's going on. Like, just tell her. Like, she
driving me nuts.
That's the only person that could kind of have your back if you just tell her what's going on. But he was just treating her like a flunky the whole time, and that pissed me off even more. The way he was talking to her, just totally disregarding everything that she was saying. I'm like, bro, if anybody gonna be on your side, it's her.
Exactly, and that's why I said that's I would say has to be the lowest part. I would rate it as the lowest part of the series because it just did not make sense. Police, historically, anecdotally, in TV and movies, police almost always take up for one another. So this idea that she would not be on his side, that she would consider him, to have committed this crime. In fact, his actions made it seem like he was more guilty. Now, I don't know if the purpose of that was to throw us off, but I think at this point we understood that he did not murder her. So that's why it made even less sense that they went in that direction. Because as all of these things are piling up, and then let me add this. He has the girl's phone in his truck.
Yeah.
He keeps turning it on, turning it off, pulling stuff off of it. Every single time a phone turns on, it connects to a cell tower. We all know this. That means he's creating even more evidence that someone still has her phone. So this stuff, this part of the series, for me, just it was nonsensical. I had to to enjoy it, I had to downplay that part in my mind because that part didn't make any sense for me.
Yeah, man. Anne and Jack finally do what they've been avoiding for years. They talk about Charlotte, their daughter, the grief that froze them in place. Anne flashes back to her 16th birthday, begin to bleed into the present. Something awful happened, something everyone pretended not to see. The final blow. Zoe is dead now. The killer isn't circling the group, they're executing the group. So her Zoe, the sister, right? She comes to the office, start talking to her brother.
The police station. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, police station. Start talking to her brother, and I'm guessing she's trying to allude to the fact that Anna might be guilty, right? But Jack don't want to hear it. Like he's hot on his case. He's trying to protect himself, really not really listening to what his sister has to say. And she ends up going home and taking a shower and all of this stuff. Like in my mind, like if you see the pattern, like first one girl that you knew was dead, then another girl that you knew that had this whole situation, like, and I guess it starts to dawn on her like this is about what happened to us a while back, because she tries to tell Jack about it, but he's just like in his own world, and
he's not listening at all.
Nah, man. She tries to give him and at that point, I want to know the story behind it. Eventually, they end up telling us, but right then, that was an opportunity for the audience to know more about what's happening. But they shut the door on us to keep us going, and then Zoe dies, and Jack finds her in the tub in blood.
Correct, and plus, you want to keep in mind, even though they close the door, because Jack is not listening. He's so busy trying to cover his own tracks and making dumb decisions that he doesn't listen to her, and she actually never gets a chance to tell him what had happened.
Yeah.
She actually mentions that something had happened, but he's dismissing her out of hand, which again, like I keep saying, this is probably the worst. His actions in the show didn't make sense because the whole show he is lecturing Priya about detective skills.
Right.
And I'm thinking to myself, first of all, your sister has come to you not just this time, she came to him at the house as well. She was the one that was like, were you sleeping with her? Were you with her that night? And it should have been a red flag in his mind. Why is she automatically asking about this? Because this girl knew from the very beginning, that she knew that girl would sleep around. She knew that she was involved with them, like that they were the Mean Girls group and all the stuff that they had done. And I think even at that point, this is before Helen died. I think she had an inclination that this might have to do with what happened out in the woods when they were kids. But again, Jack is not listening. He's making such poor decisions. So in that instance, he could have solved the case right there if he had taken a moment to listen to his sister and saved her life.
Yeah, which is, I think, something that he held on. Like towards the end of the show, I think he said something along those lines. He killed her. If he would have been there, she'd have maybe things would have been different. Yeah. Episode 5: The Suspects. Everyone has a motive. Everyone is cornered. Jack is sidelined after the death of his sister, and the investigation moves forward without him. And for the first time, he looks like the villain in his own story. Anna turns her lens to Richard, the cameraman who's always been watching. His past reveals voyeurism, obsession, abuse, and proximity that suddenly feels sinister. Evidence starts to point towards Lexi, or Catherine, the girl who vanished after years of bullying. Anna follows the false promise of an interview straight into a trap. The show has officially crossed into Predator territory. So this Catherine girl, they did a good job with her, like kind of masking her behind her beauty, masking her behind the desk, you know, of being the anchor and all of this stuff. And the fact that Anna took her husband so Anna has been gone for a while, right? And Lexi ends up taking her space, right, as anchor. So when Anna gets back, she's like, I'm ready to get back to being anchor. And her boss is like, nah, bro, you've been out too long. We gave it to Lexi. So Anna feels like, oh, if she gonna take my job, I'm gonna take something from her. She tries to, she takes her husband on this on this trip with her, and she ends up having sex with her husband. I'm like, oh, so you just bad all around. In my mind, oh, you killed the girl and you taking somebody's husband, like you just don't care. And Rich is all down for it. You know, he's just happy-go-lucky. He wants a job. He wants a girl. He's just doing his thing. And we end up having Lexi come back to Dahlonega and throw a wrench in the whole thing, man. And I really
have a question for you, though.
Go ahead.
Okay. Because we come to find out that Lexi is Catholic. Was this their plan all along?
The husband, Richard,
between Richard and Lexi. My question is, was it a plan? Because we know that it was Anna who chose her husband to be her cameraman. Okay. So he couldn't, they couldn't have orchestrated that because that was a choice made by Anna. But by the time he and Lexi set this trap to get her out to their lake house, my question is, how long? Is it that this is maybe something that they have talked about previously, and he's just working on long game? I don't know. What do you think?
So in my mind, Richard just was like totally oblivious to what was going on with Lexi, between Lexi and Anna and all. I think he was just totally oblivious. Like I think he was just like easily manipulated, to do whatever Catherine or Lexi wanted him to do. Just like I think once Richard was on the job with Anna, I think Lexi saw that as an opportunity to, kind of get her back or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And use that as an opportunity to get closer to Anna. But I don't think Richard was involved. I think he was just along for the ride because they had a little conversation after Lexi did the interview with the husband. He was like, well, you got what you needed. Like, why are you still trying to do all of this? Like, what's the plan? And then, I don't think Lexi fully let him in on her full plan. Because when he got to the house, he was like, what is wrong with you? Like, after they got into that little fight, Richard really, it seemed like he didn't understand where it was coming from. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if he was totally like on like Lexi wanted him to be. I think he was just like on the outside looking in, along for the ride. He was just so gullible about it. He's just, it just ended up hurting him too in the process.
Well, I'm gonna have to rewatch because it seems like in that last episode that he was kind of going off on Anna for her being self-centered, and it's like he is going after her for all of the stuff that Lexi would have told him that happened to her as a kid, and he's taking out his anger for all the stuff that Anna did to Lexi on her now. That's how his, like, once he lured her out there, because by the time they get to that lake house, it is quite clear she was lured out there and it was a trap. So he has to come into it somewhere. That's what I'm trying to figure out, because why is he luring her there? If he doesn't know something, maybe he was luring her out there just for her to, like Alexei, to confront Anna. Maybe that's all it was in his mind. Because I don't think that he intended that they were going to kill her. I thought, because in my mind, once I made the connection that Lexi's Catherine and Catherine is Lexi, that she's trying to kill her. That's what I thought. That's what she thought. But we come to find out that isn't actually the case. So I don't know. I would say this is probably the best part of the series, because it's trying to, your mind is trying to figure out exactly now which direction are we going. So it keeps you spinning. And you know me, when I'm watching something, my mind is, I'm trying to figure it out.
Trying to solve it, yeah, man, trying to solve it already.
Yeah.
So yeah, you could be right, I think, because I remember that Richard told Anna, like when they finally got to the cabin or whatever, the lake house, she was like, "Oh, why are we here?" And he was like, "She wanted to bury the hatchet or something like that."
So
this could be something there that Richard was privy to, but I don't know if he knew the whole thing, because he did act surprised when that whole conversation started to unfold. But yeah, man. Now we go on episode 6, Two Sides. Revenge wears a familiar face. The lake house confrontation strips away all performance. Lexi reveals herself as Catherine, the girl they broke, the girl who never left. But the final twist is quieter and deadlier. Okay. Right, before we get to the twist. We come to find out that Catherine, Anna, Zoe, Helen, and Rachel all was friends back in the day. And on Anna's 16th birthday, I believe it was, they go out into the woods. They're growing up, they drinking, they're having fun, but all of a sudden, these guys come to the party. They crash the party in the woods. And through a series of events, Anna gets raped. Catherine gets raped, but Catherine gets away. Goes into the darkness and disappears, right? And now we enter the point to where Jack comes to the lake house, and he's trying to fight, and Priya's there, and she shoots Catherine in the head. So Catherine dies.
Now, because at this point, you have to remember that Anna was able to get a call out to Jack to let him know that Lexi was Catherine and that they had trapped her out at this lake house. So he's coming in hot. You got to remember, he's coming directly from the crime scene of his sister being murdered.
Yeah.
And this was also right when Priya, when he was trying to leave there, Priya decides she has enough evidence to arrest him for these murders. And so Priya tries to arrest him before he can get there.
Yeah.
And this is all happening at the same time that Anna is in a knockdown, drag-out fight between herself and
Lexi.
Richard and Lexi.
Yeah.
Okay, eventually both of them are involved. So all of this is kind of happening simultaneously. And before you go further, after Jack has been such a jerk to Priya, this fool punches her out at his sister's house so he can get away from being arrested, because of course Priya is wrong, although she's right, but she's also wrong. I don't know. This is crazy.
Yeah, it was all over the place, man. But the thing was, the thing that made it so good was like all of this, like you said, it's happening around the same time. So it's like constant back and forth, constant action. And when Lexi dies, we're like, man, is that the end of the story?
Right?
No, it's not. A year later, Anne is pregnant, back together with her husband Jack, and they go visit the mother Alice. And while she's visiting the mom, she picks up a letter and begins to read this letter. In the letter, Alice confesses everything. She watched the old tapes, she saw what they did to Anne, and she killed them all. The person we thought did it didn't do it. The show ends on the cruelest truth. Justice doesn't come from law, it comes from a mother.
And plus, they tricked us because Anna has been narrating the whole series.
Yeah, that was nice.
And we come to find out that it's not actually Anna narrating, it's Anna reading a letter, and it's the letter at the very end. And right before it reveals that it's the mom, they changed the voice to the mom's voice. That was good.
Yeah,
that
was good. Good. All right. So we talk about morality, right?
Okay.
Does Alice reveal deepen the story's morality, or does it collapse under shock? So
hold on. Say that again. Because you froze it, I didn't hear it all. Say it again.
Does Alice's reveal deepen the story's morality, or does it collapse under shock value? So because we became so shocked by the revelation that the mom killed everybody, does it take away from the meaning or the morality behind why she did it? Like, do you understand and can you relate to why she did it, or are you just totally shocked by the fact that her mother went to these lengths to kind of redeem her daughter's honor? You know what I'm saying?
Honestly, I don't think that it causes, the story to collapse because of the shock of it. If I'm understanding you correctly. So I feel like that the revelation just adds the piece that was missing. Although shocking, I don't think any of the characters' decisions, even though it turns out that they were not the killers in this case, although they all could have been based on what we saw, I don't think it changes anything because they still made the decisions that they made. So I don't think that it does that. I think that it just gives us this, it's the final puzzle piece.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
What about you?
So I'm on the line of I understand exactly what Alice did, and for me, as a parent, I understand that length that she went to, because her daughter was demeaned, she was raped, and she was abused. The fact that her mother went to these lengths to kind of like redeem her, like you said, it gives us that missing piece as to why all of this was going on. And it kind of like, because her daughter and Jack's daughter died, so like all of this stuff was going on, like, and the fact she said that she couldn't be there, like she couldn't protect the daughter from losing Charlotte, she felt another reason to go through and like redeem all of this stuff that these men took from her. So to answer the question, it doesn't collapse under shock value. It actually deepens the story, and it lets you know why all of this stuff happened, and it makes a lot of sense. If it had been somebody else that killed them, it wouldn't had the same like gravity. You know what I mean? Of the story, the fact that the mother did this added so much gravity to the story, and it made it even that much better. Now, do we agree or not? That's a totally different thing. But can we understand it? Yeah, I can understand it. So
I can definitely understand it. And let me say this. It's funny you mentioned the men. That last shot from that camcorder where they were singing happy birthday,
that was
to
crazy.
that girl while she was being raped, even though it was the boys who did it, that girl Rachel paid them to do it. She took money from them and told them, essentially served them up on a platter to these boys. Yes, the boys are the ones that did it, but they were the tools of the girls. And for those girls to sit there and slump against each other like this was some warm family moment, watching Anna, be assaulted in that way, man, they are the lowest of the low. I mean, those were some evil girls. They're beyond mean girls. So with the tragedy, and then adding on top of this that Alice is finding out that this horrible thing happened to her daughter, I think she was trying to figure a way to fix it. And that's what parents do. I may not be able to make you completely whole, but I'm going to try my damnedest, if I can, to fix it. And I think that's what she was trying to do.
Yeah. So on that note, what you rate this series, man?
That's a great question. I'm gonna give it a 7. I'm gonna give it a 7.5. I have to ding it for the decisions that they had the Jack character make. I have to ding it. But it was enjoyable. It was edge of your seat. It kept me guessing. So that's why I would.
I'm at a 8.5. The only reason I'm not at a 9 is because Jack Bernthal's character, bro. He made me mad through the whole series, bro. I'm like, this is something I wouldn't normally expect from him. I thought his character would be better. I mean, you can only do with the material what you can do with it. So he did a great job doing it, but his acting was good. Yeah, for sure. It was really good. But the character that
was deficient.
Yeah, man. So I'm at an 8.5. I was gonna go at a 9. I can't do it, bro. I can't do it. I can't. You lost me, John. No. No.
Okay.
If y'all did watch His and Hers, let us know what you thought about it. Put it down in the comments. We'll be sure to check it out. What His and Hers does with trauma, Wonder Man does with fame. One hides the truth to survive emotionally, the other hides to stay employed. And this gives us to Wonder Man. It's not about surviving the world, it's about surviving auditions, contracts, and identity theft. This is Marvel doing satire with teeth, a show about performance anxiety where the powers are real and the consequences are legal. Let's get into Wonder Man.
So, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, superpowered individuals are banned from working in Hollywood by the doorman clause. Struggling actor Simon Williams, who secretly has superpowers, forms an unlikely friendship with Trevor Slattery as the pair attempt to land roles in a remake of the in-universe superhero film Wonder Man. Meanwhile, a shady government agent leverages the new friendship in order to save his own job. And of course, Wonder Man is starring Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, and here to the rest of the cast. Ben Kingsley, they are our stars of this show. But we have a lot of other good characters as well. Most definitely a great watch.
Yeah, it was really good, man. I like Yaya in this role. A lot of people, of course, wasn't too thrilled about a black man playing Wonder Man, but I think he did a great job. And yeah, I think I'm excited to see him more and see more what he can do. A lot of his power was dwarfed in this because we needed to kind of get an idea of who he was. I think for me, this is one of the most human characters outside of Spider-Man and Iron Man. This is probably one of the most human characters that we've seen. Um, of course, there's Wanda too, but yeah, they did good with Simon Williams. All right, here we go. Episode 1, Matinee. Rock Bottom has stadium seating. Simon Williams opens the series doing what he does best, bombing an audition with maximum sincerity and minimal reward. You can feel the weight.
Bomb is an understatement.
Yeah, man.
Not only was he hired, but he also got himself fired all in the same day.
Yo,
I mean, not just fired. I mean, literally got himself written out of the script.
That's crazy. But is there a thing of being too prepared though and too invested in because he was very invested in the role, yes. And that just kind of lets you know the type of person he is. He's just very thought out person. He wants to do a great job, and even though it's like a small role, he's going to treat it like a debut type of situation. And they let us know exactly who he was, and the first impression that we got of him was like really well done. But he did bomb that thing, man. But do you think there's a such thing as being too prepared or too invested in something to where you actually work yourself out of it?
I would not describe him as too prepared.
Okay.
I would describe him as he lacks self-awareness.
Okay.
I think that's his issue. Because self-awareness would say, bring all of what I have learned, all of this research, bring it to the role within the confines of what I was hired to do.
Yeah.
That does not mean that I should be telling the writers to rewrite. It does not mean that I should be telling the directors how it should be directed. It does not mean that I should be essentially rewriting everything. It's like a know your lane and stay in it type problem. That's his problem. He lacks self-awareness to the point where his obsession with the subject gets out of control. It becomes almost like OCD because he can't stop himself. He can't help it. So to me, that's more of his problem than being over-prepared. Because I don't think his over-preparedness was the problem. I think if he uses his over-preparedness or his, how well he prepares, because I don't want to say over-prepared, how well he prepares, I think if he uses it the right way, when he taps in, it creates a brilliant performance.
Yeah.
It's when he can't control trying to tell everybody else what to do that it becomes a problem.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I agree. You can feel the weight of rejection clinging to him. This is a man who has rehearsed failure. Then fate intervenes in the least heroic place imaginable, a movie theater. Enter Trevor Slattery, aka the Mandarin, living proof that Hollywood never fully lets go of its clowns or its criminals. Their conversation cackles with desperation and possibility. Two actors at different stages of disgrace, sharing popcorn and bad luck. Simon decides he's done waiting for permission, and he acts his way into Wonder Man remake audition, navigating casting rules while trying to physically suppress the ionic energy simmering under his skin. Every smile, risk, and explosion. So he meets Trevor at the movie theater, and I was like, that was random for me. Like, man in the movie theater, like, what are you doing here? I knew something was tricky about that, like, because he's just like a known character, but he's like in this obscure place, like this random place. and they tried to set it up like he's an actor, so that's why he's in the movie theater. But I knew something wasn't right, man. Something wasn't right. So
And
go
no,
ahead.
go ahead.
The audition lands hard. The producers are stunned for the first time. Simon doesn't fake confidence. He channels something real. Then the floor drops out. Trevor isn't a washed-up actor. He's a confidential informant for the Department of Damage Control. The dream has already been compromised.
Yeah, that was all the setup. Once you get the reveal that him being placed there was a setup by the DVC, it begins to make sense. And so come to find out that it's not as random as it was played to be. But let me tell you something. One of the things that this series does, people have been complaining, as there's a whole lot of Marvel hate out there right now. And people claiming superhero fatigue and all that kind of crap. What I will say is this. You cannot say that they did not bring A-level acting to Wonder Man.
Mm-hmm.
Was there a lot of action? If you haven't seen this yet, I can just tell you right now, no. This was not about action. This series was about character development. And I mean, some of the best acting in the MCU is in this series.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Regardless of what you see online and people hating on it, expecting it to be, superhero smash and crash and all these, crazy effects, it actually was great writing and excellent acting. And we're gonna be honest, people have been saying, hey, they should put out a better product. They need better writers. Here you go. They put it on a platter because Wonder Man is all of those things, except it is not action. That's the thing it is. Yeah. But once you get into it and you dig into it for what it is, man, it served the purpose for me.
Yeah. It definitely leveraged substance over spectacle. You know what I'm saying? It was definitely
that's a great way to put it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was very well written, and even though it didn't have a lot of action in it, it still had a lot of energy in it because of how they wrote Simon, like his need to find purpose, and what he did kind of drove the film, and it allowed Trevor to kind of like be there for him and step outside of what his initial purpose was, to actually be like a catalyst for Simon to really accept himself for who he is and become a hero in the making type of situation. So yeah, it was good, man. So is Trevor a villain here, or is he just working to preserve himself?
I don't see him as the villain at all. I mean, if you are somebody who's gotten yourself in trouble and someone presents you with an opportunity to, reduce your time or, make amends faster so you can get freedom, I don't see any problem with that. And I think that his true character and true nature is shown because once he actually makes a connection with Simon and realizes this is a good guy, he hasn't done anything wrong, he starts working to subvert the investigation into Simon as much as he possibly could, and then ultimately, at the end as well. So I don't see him as a villain. I think he's between a rock and a hard place, and he's doing what's best for him. That is what all people do. I don't think that makes him a villain.
All right. Nice. Episode 2, Self-Tape. Agent Cleary tightens the leash. Trevor is ordered to plant a bug in Simon's apartment to confirm he's harboring illegal superhuman abilities, using his friendship against him. What follows is one of the show's most smartest choices, an episode disguised as comedy. Simon and Trevor attempt to record a flawless self-tape retaking lines, adjusting lighting, spiraling into insecurity. The industry's cruelty is played for laughs until Joe Pantoliano, did I say that? Drops by Pantoliano.
Close enough.
Okay. Drops by, or rather, they drop by his house and they turn anxiety into panic. The pressure becomes too much. Simon focuses, cracks. His power surges. He sits in his house, ionic energy boiling underneath his skin. The kitchen doesn't stand a chance. And it explodes.
Yeah. And that's actually before they go to Joe Pantoliano's house. Because he was going to film it at his house. His house got messed up because, you know, he had this outburst. And at this point of his powers, he, just like mutants and a lot of people who have powers in superhero and sci-fi, his powers are being expressed when he is having an emotional outburst. And so anytime something happens like this, either his family makes him mad or, you know, there's something bad that happens, this is when he loses control. And, you know, his grip on controlling and you know, bringing those powers to heal is loose, and then there's like an explosion of power. So that's why his apartment got damaged, and that's why he ended up needing somewhere to record. And that's how they end up at Joe Pantoliano's house, only to end up back at his apartment eventually.
And Trevor now has the proof damage control once, but guilt sets in, and the line between asset and accomplice begins to blur. A critic note, many reviews praise this episode as Marvel's best depiction of creative anxiety. One called it Black Swan with ring lights. Yeah, man. So they did a lot, and even like we 2 episodes in, and there's not a lot of action. I guess you could call the outburst an action scene, but not really. It's just like an emotional outburst. But even with the 2 episodes that we had, it's still very well done. And I'm like, man, where's this going? Like, I'm still in it. I'm still wanting to find out what's gonna happen with Simon. And yeah. Episode 3, Pacoima. The story shifts away from Hollywood illusion into something more dangerous. Family. Simon and Trevor attends his mother's birthday party in Pacoima, a setting soaked in memory and resentment. Simon's brother Eric confronts him, accusing Simon of abandoning the family in pursuit of fantasy. Words become fists, verbal fists, and Simon loses control. Walls crack, furniture explodes. Trevor makes his choice. On the way from the party, Simon expresses to Trevor, people can't know about him, you know, can't know what he can do. And all the time, Trevor has his bug on him, his little microphone. And when they pull over, Trevor makes his choice. He throws away the wire. And for the first time, loyalty beats survival. But also, Simon gets the call. He got the role for Wonder Man. And Trevor is along for the ride. It's episode 3, man. Easter egg watch. Eric wielding a gardening scythe visually nods to his comic identity as Grim Reaper, which is something I didn't know.
Okay.
Episode 4, Doorman. And we get into Doorman.
Doorman
the whole
was hilarious.
The Doorman clause. Okay, let's just skip. What did you like about Doorman?
Okay, so first of all, this has to do with the setting of Wonder Man totally.
Okay.
The fact that it's set in Hollywood, it's like a nesting box. Okay. So we're watching this series, but of course the series is about Hollywood. The series is made in Hollywood. It's like something inside of something inside of something.
Yeah.
And then when you get to the Doorman clause, it's like, okay, now we understand why they have this. Man, it was great. It's great. I think the critique of Hollywood that Wonder Man does is awesome because you're getting to see the side that people don't see, and they're putting it out there. And so I think that part is really cool. When we get to the Doorman episode, whereas essentially it's a flashback in time to figure out what this Doorman clause is. I would say that the Doorman character, he got this 15 minutes of fame, but I think once he realized that they didn't want him, they just wanted this shtick.
Yeah.
It made him a really sad character.
It did. It did.
I mean, it made him a really sad character. In the beginning, he was on the highest of highs. I mean, in our terms, his videos went viral. Okay. He was at the top of TikTok, right? Yeah. He's raking in the money from social media. YouTube is popping. Facebook's got millions of followers. Essentially, that's kind of where he was. But once we realize it boils it down to nobody actually cares who you are. You can do a cool trick, and we want you to come and be on cast and do this cool trick until it all goes wrong. Yeah. So that whole scene, it because of how it was shot, it being kind of like grayscale a little bit. Yeah. It's a little jarring at first, but I understood they were trying to make us make a connection. That this is in the past. What did you think about it?
I loved it, man, because we had that lead in episode 3. Simon is telling Trevor that people can't really know about me because of the Doorman clause. And Trevor's like, what's the Doorman clause? So we got a chance to see this whole, you don't just get to hear about the Doorman clause, you get to see it all unfold about this guy getting powers and you know, he used his powers for good, but then because he saved the people in the club when they couldn't get out, but then it turns into something more comical. And then he's like, man, like you said, now I'm famous and I got all of this stuff available to me. I'm gonna milk it dry, and then it goes wrong. So like it just further solidifies why Simon don't want people knowing about him. Mm-hmm. But the fact that he wants to be an actor still is kind of like, it's not crazy. It's just like, why would you even want to go through that? You know, but then this is just how our superheroes in this world behave. They still try to lead normal lives outside of their powers. And we still haven't seen the height of Simon's powers yet, but we know whatever he does, it causes serious damage to the things that's around him. So we know why he's trying to keep it such a secret in this field that he's in, but he's still trying to maintain his humanity by going after his dreams and his goals. So I like the fact that they had this Doorman episode in here because it just re-solidifies Simon's character, and that's kind of what I liked about it. And they had Josh Gad in there, which was hilarious, bro.
Playing himself.
Playing himself. And it's just like Marvel is in Hollywood for real. You know what I'm saying? They taking real life people, real life things, and they bringing it into the universe. And it's just making Marvel that much more tangible for people. And I really like it. Go ahead.
That's why I say it felt like a box inside of a box inside of a box. Because it's like it's weird when you think about it, because they're talking about themselves putting like real life Hollywood into the MCU. So I thought that aspect of the whole series was cool.
Yeah, man. DeMar Davis rises through the 1990s Hollywood by secretly using his phasing powers, becoming a stunt legend in the industry built on illusion and risk. For a while, the system rewards him until it doesn't. Josh Gad is injured. The fallout is swift and merciless. The industry doesn't just blacklist DeMar, it codifies its fear. Doorman Clause is born, legally banning superpower individuals from the Screen Actors Guild. This episode reframes everything. Simon isn't just hiding from the law, he's hiding from history. Yeah, man, he can't even tell people who he is. Some people are calling this episode brilliant and brave. Others felt it stalled momentum. almost everyone agrees is unforgettable. Do you feel that it stalled momentum of the show, or you just feel like okay? What would you do? You think it stalled the momentum?
I can understand that sentiment because when you have we're literally at this happened right after the revelation that the full confirmation that Simon has powers because he just destroyed that island that his brother made such a big deal about that he got and designed for his mom's house, bragging on himself. So that's the confirmation of his powers, which Simon had not fully been able to confirm. So to me, we're kind of at a high point.
Yeah.
And to then break away from it, it can be a little bit jarring. I will give you that criticism. I think that's a fair criticism. My only question is, where else would you have put it?
Yeah.
If you were going to put this in, maybe it could have fit in. It might have been shortened, but I mean, to me, the series was already too short anyway. I don't know that I would have dedicated a whole episode to it. I think they could have told the doorman story in a little bit more of a succinct way, because if you remember, when he first went to that audition, they told him he needed to sign the paper saying that he was not a superhero, had no superpowers. They could have taken that moment to put it right there and give it like half the time that they gave it. And I think it might have been it wouldn't have been as jarring, but overall, taking it as it was, it added so much to the story.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm not gonna ding them for it. It could have been put somewhere else, but at the same time, it still was additive to the story. It did not take away at all in my mind.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
What do you think?
No, I thought it was fine. Like you said, where else would you have put it? I think it was in the episode. It flowed right where it needed to be, so they can get the information out, get us another frame of mind for the rest of the season. And could it have been shorter? It could have been, but the fact that we got a chance to really go through this whole experience with the doorman and understanding like really what happened, it just set us up for the latter part of the series, and I think it was fine. I think that when you go from color to grayscale, it is a shock. Even if it had been in color, it wouldn't have been as shocking. But I think because of the visual aspect, you go from full color and how colorful the first part is. When you go to that grayscale, it's kind of like, oh man, what are we doing here? And then it takes you to gotta go through the story, to experience it. It wasn't that bad.
But I mean, it's I don't know the terminology for it, but it's a decision that they made that it's part of the storytelling. It's like the first 2 episodes of WandaVision are in black and white. So it's they're trying to send a message, and they're making the actual color grading part of the story. Yeah. It actually helps to inform the story. So I think that's the point of it. And I think that, I don't know if you've been watching A Night of the Seven Kingdoms as part of the Game of Thrones series. Have you?
I have.
Are you caught up?
Yes.
Okay. So the most recent episode of that is getting the exact same commentary, because we are at the penultimate episode of the series, or the first season of this series. And on slate for this episode is a humongous battle. We get this great setting. I mean, the setting of the battle, the haziness, how they bring us into this moment. We know that people are about to die, and literally the main character, after 2 hits, boom, his head goes into the mud. We see mud go into his helmet, and for 20 minutes of a 30-minute show, mind you, for 20 minutes of a 30-minute show, they went to a flashback in his past and completely interrupted the battle.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
The flashback gave us a lot of background about his life.
Sir
and where he
Duncan,
came
the
from.
tunnel. Yeah.
Exactly. But that we were being introduced to Dunk of Fleabot in that moment.
Yeah.
And his friend Ray. But I will say, man, talking about completely interrupting the flow mid-battle, let's go back. You know, all these years to when you were kids and tell the story about what happened and where you came from, literally in the midst of a death battle happening. So in some cases, it can be done well. I would say that example of this most recent show, I think that's an example where it absolutely interrupted the action, and it could have been done differently. Because I think it hurt that episode, even though the episode ended up being great.
Yeah.
I think the way they put that hurt the episode, and then making it be 20 minutes.
Yeah.
What you say?
I said, especially with the back of homeboy head. Woo-wee.
That end of that was crazy.
It was.
I know they can't fight a long time because they got all this armor on, especially once they get knocked off the horse. It's very difficult to just have a sustained battle. I get that, but at the same time, cutting away for so long definitely interrupted the story. But they made up for it in the end.
Yeah, they did.
Okay, back on track. Back to what we're talking. Not his and hers. We're talking about what now?
Wonder Man.
Wonder Man. Okay.
Yeah.
Center. I'm back.
Yeah. We're on episode 5, Found Footage. A kid captures Simon using his powers to save Trevor from an aggressive debt collectors. Not a villain, not a monster. He's just a kid with a GoPro. And Simon and Trevor chase this kid through the streets of Hollywood. And it played for comedy, but
it was hilarious.
It was. But it's dripping with dread. This boy cannot get this footage out, or it's going to ruin everything Simon had worked for. So they finally catch up to the kid. They negotiate, they bribe, and they end up having to go to this kid's house, which probably was the funniest part of the whole show, when they think that these kids selling drugs, but they making candy, bro. It was just it was funny, man.
They're making candy?
Yeah. They making candy. It was making candy. Wasn't they making candy? Yeah, they was making candy. They thought they was selling drugs, but they was making candy. And Trevor was like, "Oh, this tastes so good. You should try it." He's like, "Man, I don't want that." And then the Department of Damage Control ended up going to the house, and then they ended up breaking out. Man, it was funny. It was a great episode. A lot of energy. Still not a lot of action in this show. 5 episodes in, but we still getting a lot of energy with the cast, man. And that was just one of them episodes where, Simon and Trevor start to get a little closer in their relationship, and they ended up. We realized that Simon and Trevor have a callback with the director for Wonder Man, and they bolt out the house and they head to the callback, which leads us to episode 6, the callback. Director Von Kovac summons them to a remote estate for their final callback. The setting feels cultish. It's isolated and very uncomfortable. The audition isn't just about acting. It's about endurance. Simon is pushed into dangerous methods that nearly forces him to use his powers to survive, but it helps him become a stronger actor. And in this callback, it's a bunch of people trying out for Wonder Man, and the director has to figure out through these series of scenarios which one he's going to pick. But Simon holds it together under the pressure, and he lands the role. But Trevor clocks the perimeter. Damage control is closing in. The walls are moving in closer. Episode 7, Kathy Friedman. Simon becomes a rising star, but success attracts scrutiny. Reporter Kathy Friedman enters like storefront, armed with paperwork and documents that dismantles Simon's carefully, but his built up persona. Through this relationship with Kathy Freeman, we come to find out that Trevor was arrested by the DODC. The pressure fractures Simon's and Trevor's relationship. Accusations fly. Trust erodes. Simon finds out that Trevor was hired by the Department of Damage Control to spy on Simon because of his abilities. On a soundstage, during the heated argument, Simon leaves out the room, out the dressing room. His emotions isn't in control, and he erupts, and it destroys the set, and it injures a few of the crew members. It's catastrophic. Now, I love that scene where he's like, "Was you spying on me?" And then Trevor got to divulge all this information. And then when he gets out, they got the camera on him. And while he's walking, he starts to see the camera shake. And he just screams and everything just explodes. So we know that Simon really doesn't have control over his powers at this point. 3 different occasions where he's emotional, like he can't control himself, he causes an explosion. And we like, man, you got to get that under control at this point, bro. You doing too much. And it's
absolutely. No, I was going to say his efforts to hide the powers instead of trying to figure out how they work led to all of this. Like you were mentioning before, he has a carefully curated persona. And with this reporter being around, he's really trying to present himself as one way when he really isn't that way. I have some questions about his character we're going to get to. But yeah, I think he made a mistake in trying to deny and hide his powers instead of learning how to use them or what they were for before this point. Because what it ends up causing is, because he has no control of them, doesn't really even know how they work properly, that he ends up exposing his own self.
Yeah. And it ends up hurting the set. It ends up hurting some people on the set, the crew members, and all of that stuff. And it draws Damage Control closer to their goal, which is to get Simon. As Damage Control moves in, Trevor performs the role of his life. He resurrects the Mandarin, claiming the explosion was caused by him and his old tech. It's ridiculous, but it works. Trevor goes back to prison. Simon becomes a global superstar, finishing his Wonder Man movie. It's a big hit. The victory is hollow. Fame without loyalty feels empty. And Simon finally stops hiding. And we get to this scene in the end of the show, which I love. They did a little misdirection here. Simon ends up finding somebody, and we think it's just a really important person that Simon wants to depict on the screen. He wants to observe him and his family so he could portray him in the film. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. But we end up finding out that this guy is a security guard at the Department of Damage Control. And Simon was just using him as a scapegoat to get into the prison. While he's in the prison, he uses his ionic powers to disable cameras and his strength to tear doors off his hinges. He owns his power. He rescues Trevor and flies away. The final image isn't about escape, it's about choice. Simon Williams stops acting and becomes Wonder Man. That's it, man.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I love that he never forgot about Trevor.
Yeah.
I think that's important because once you know this great betrayal is uncovered, and he has this outburst of power that essentially blows the top off of everything and forces Trevor into action to try to save him. We know that Simon is angry with Trevor for what he's done, but they actually have developed a real friendship. Their friendship is real.
Yeah.
And so when he then sacrifices himself to redirect the DDC away and essentially offer himself up, Simon understands that is like the proof of the real friendship, that even though he was placed in this horrible situation, he really, did not mean him ill. And
Right.
so I think that's a really important thing, that he then takes all that time. So I think it's like a year later by the time he was able to rescue him.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, he needed time to figure out how his powers worked.
Yeah.
And so we don't see that on screen, but it's quite obvious. If you remember, there's a callback to when they were running from the loan sharks and he was trying to find his car. And Trevor's asking him, "You don't have super speed?" He's like, "No, I got my car." And they're like running, it's hilarious at the moment, but this dude can actually fly, but he don't know it yet.
Yeah.
So, that callback even makes it more funny because you have like supreme powers. You have a lot of power. Your power set is pretty cool, and you don't know how to use it. So that's why there's a year's gap. He's figured out how to work that power so he can go back and save his friend, and that's a cool thing.
Yeah.
Now, what I wanted to add, I have two things I want to talk about. So while we're right here talking about Trevor, offering himself up to go to prison, there's a really strong comment in Wonder Man about the prison industrial complex, and I don't know if people caught on to it, but the guy that's playing the agent,
Cleary.
Cleary, Agent Cleary. He's being told by his superiors that we need you to do something. You need to get a bust in because we have built this prison and it's empty.
Yeah.
And dang if that is not a huge comment on the prison industrial complex in real life, because prisons make money.
Yeah, for sure.
Prisons are not about rehabilitation. Anyone who knows anything about prison knows that it is not about rehabilitation. The prison industrial complex is a money-making venture, okay? They make money when they have people in their facility. If their facility is empty, they don't make money. Well, if you think about like common sense, people think, okay, the prison is for prisoners. It's supposed to rehabilitate them, or it's supposed to punish them so that people don't make crimes. It's supposed to be a deterrent. It is not any of those things. People make money from prisons.
Mm-hmm.
We got to understand that as people.
Right.
And laws are written to get more people in trouble, to send them to prisons and jails so that people can make money.
Yeah.
And it was like a throwaway line, but I caught it immediately because I'm like, okay, so they built this high-tech prison and they don't have anyone in it. And so essentially they're like, hey, we gotta make this worth our money. We gotta make our money. We gotta fill this prison. So they got Trevor out here being a confidential informant against Simon, who has literally done nothing. He has not committed any crimes. He just happens to be someone who is superpowered.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all it takes. And guess what? With the stroke of a pen and a law, someone made him a criminal.
Yeah. Crazy.
Literally criminalize his existence. And then that opens the door to get government money and contracts in if we're thinking about real life now, billions of dollars are being made because someone built a prison to house folks that people wrote laws to make criminals.
Yeah.
When you dig into it, that's a rabbit hole to go down.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah, man. That's deep. I didn't even catch that, man. The fact that you caught that's deep, man. But yeah, the prison pipeline is crazy, man. They talk about it in schools and stuff, the school to prison pipeline, and people making money from prison. It's just a whole corrupt system, man. That if you get too close, it could burn you. You know?
Oh yeah.
So,
that's what I always say. I say it, you know, in a funny way. I'm not doing nothing that's going to put me in nobody's jail. I'm not. I refuse. I'm going to try to live my life in a way so that I don't end up in it. But I mean, we talked about it a few times. You know, talking about these movies and films. It may come a day that we have to do something to protect ourselves and protect our family that puts us in harm's way. In that way, I mean, the reality is, if we're going back to that question about morality, I think it's probably more moral or ethical to do the right thing, even if it could end up placing you in jeopardy.
Yeah. Oh, that's deep, man. On that note, what would you rate this series?
I'm gonna rate Wonder Man. I really enjoyed it. I'm gonna rate it it's a 9 for me.
Yeah, I'm at a 9.
And let me tell you why I'm a 9. And I want to justify my rating. Without action, this kept me engaged. And I love the phrase that you used during this recap and review. It continuously brought energy without action. Yeah. And to me, that is like the hallmark of great writing and direction. We're not Michael Baying it up with explosions to keep you distracted and crazy action scenes. I love all of that. Please don't get me wrong. It is important to movies. But if you can take a movie or a show and get someone engaged, especially from this type of genre of content, and keep us in there, and it still not feel dull, I don't feel like I was gypped necessarily, other than they could have given us an episode, if you know, just like we got a Doorman episode, we should have got an episode after, you know, he revealed Trevor, you know, put his gambit down to get the feet off of Simon. We could have had another episode of Simon finally embracing his powers. That should have been an episode. I'm sure they're saving that. Maybe we'll get that as a intro into the next season. But that's the only thing that I wish we would have seen. But I really enjoyed it because of the acting and the writing and the direction.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. I do like that. That would have been funny, or like, you know, like him finding out his powers, him figuring out what he can do, him making mistakes and all of that stuff. That's something that we could have seen. So there's a theory out. Is Wonder Man a mutant or not?
Great question.
Because so Marvel never says the word, but the clues are loud. Powers manifest at puberty. His emotion triggers his powers, not an experiment. And damage control involvement mirrors Mrs. Marvel. And Mrs. Marvel, they was trying to figure out the whole mutant thing, and Mrs. Marvel says that she wasn't really born. She wasn't. There was an experiment. She was born with this type of power. The bangles and all that stuff comes from her family. So a lot of people are saying that Wonder Man wasn't a mutant at first in the original comics, but now they're trying to paint him as a mutant, and it's more of a way for them to bring in the more mutants in the X-Men and all of that stuff, because it's like introducing the mutants slowly with Miss Marvel, with things like that. So
that's a great question. I'm not sure. I think that they have definitely laid some clues down, but I don't think we saw enough of his life to make the determination just yet. And I think that's purposeful. I think that's purposeful. It's one of those things, they can leave it as an open question and we'll figure it out later on. They got us talking about it.
Yep. All right, let's end things off with the Cinema Goodness Hall of Fame.
Okay. You didn't
What
give
would
your
you
rating, though.
No, I was at a 9. I'm at a 9 with you.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, the Cinema Goodness Hall of Fame. Who would you say the MVP is of his and hers?
Alice.
Sounds good. I'm with you.
What about you?
I'm with you, Alice.
Yeah.
Who would you say the MVP is of Wonder Man?
Ooh. Of the first season, Trevor.
Dang, yeah. Yeah.
It's got to be Trevor because he had an opportunity for freedom and threw it away. Yeah, it's got to be Trevor.
Yeah.
For me,
I'm with you.
Okay.
We're both on the same. We got Alice and we got Trevor. Unsung hero of his and hers.
Ooh, unsung hero. I want to say Priya.
Yeah.
She got dogged out by Jack the whole episode, but I think that she's a better detective than him.
Yeah, she was. I'm with you, man. We 3 for 3 right now.
Okay.
Who would you say the unsung hero is for Wonder Man?
Ooh. You go first because I have to think about this one.
I got the writers. The writers are the unsung heroes, man. They made 8 episodes of goodness without a lot of action, man. And I was just for it to be a superhero based show and it didn't have a lot of superhero activity and it was still good. I love that about it.
I'm with you when you're right.
Sounds good. Best character arc for his and hers.
Ooh. Ah, gosh. I want to say Anna. But I don't know. I'm going to say Anna, but I'm not happy with that answer.
It was kind of tough. I'm going to go back to Alice. She had it because she was like dementia. We thought she had dementia and stuff. Like she was just a mom.
Played that dementia role, didn't she?
Did. She was walking through the street naked and stuff in the rain.
Most of the time.
All of that stuff, man. And then we found out she did the whole thing. It's crazy, man.
Murderous.
Yeah, man. Wonder Man, best character arc.
Ooh. I'm going to have to say Simon.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it to Simon in this instance. I don't think there's anyone better than him.
Okay. Sounds good. I'm with you on
what
that.
What about you? Okay.
I'm Simon. Okay, my most iconic moment. You could pick one from each, or you could just pick one.
The most iconic moment was the rescue at the end when Simon came back for his friend. It's between that and when he exploded on set. But I'm gonna give the edge to the ending of Wonder Man when he came and saved Trevor.
Yeah. Okay. I got that. And I also got that letter. The letter in his and hers, man. When we were reading that and the voice changed to the mom, I was like, oh damn. Y'all got me, bro. Y'all got me. All right.
What did you think about the look that she gave her mom when she read it? Because at first she was shocked and crying, and then she was like,
I know you love me. I know you love me. I know it and I can feel it. Yeah,
right?
Man.
That's it's love right there.
It's just like, oh.
Only love will make you do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, man.
Love or mercy, one of the two.
Make you do wrong and make you do right.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, man. All right, my favorite category, the most punchable character. The most punch.
One for each one?
You could do that or just one.
I want you to go first.
Okay. You said it for the I don't know if you realized you said it, but you said it for his and hers. It's a group of girls. It's Rachel, Helen, and Zoe. It's them for his and hers.
They definitely got what they deserve.
So
that video of them, just thinking about it makes me angry.
Yeah, for sure. And Wonder Man, I don't know if I have one. Well, I'm gonna say the ding dong bit. The
ding dong bit.
The whole ding dong bit. They could have kept that, but you know.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna agree with you. The girls as a group, but close second is Jack.
Yeah.
He drove me nuts.
Yeah.
He deserved to be punched out several times.
Yeah.
But yeah, him, and then in Wonder Man, Agent Cleary.
Yeah. He's just doing his job. But yeah, he definitely get it.
But he don't care whose life he destroys in doing it. So, he's definitely punchable.
Both of these shows understand the same truth. The story that survives is always the one that's right. That's it for us today, family. Hi, man. If you like this episode, please hit that like button. If you like any of the clips that you see from us that's swirling around the internet, give us some likes, man. Subscribe to the channel. If you want us to watch, I got some movies that's been sent to us that we need to watch and review, JP. So I'm gonna send those to you.
Please, I want to see them.
Yeah.
Was it a comment on one of the videos?
No, it's just a text message I got.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got a text message, man, from somebody that wants to be on the podcast that we gotta try to make room for one day.
Okay.
But
yeah,
man. But they sent us some shows and some movies for us to check out. Yeah, man. That's it for us today. Anything else, JP?
One thing, if you made it this far, you have enjoyed this video, as Kaim said, please hit like, share. But here's what I want you to do. I want you to leave your comment about how Simon's character in Wonder Man was written. In the show, they made it seem like he's a little self-centered, and I want your thoughts on that. Do you agree with it? Was that really his persona? Was that part of his OCD and learning how to, do his acting roles? I really want your opinion because I'm actually a little bit, I don't know. That's the one part of the show I'm not fully clear about, and I probably will need to rewatch the series again to get clarity. But if you have any thoughts about how Simon was written, I want you to share it in the comments, and we'll join the conversation.
Yes, sir.
That's it for me.
Sounds good. You have a light that is out of this world. Let it shine and be the richness that this world deserves. Much love, family. Being rich.
Peace.